Let's talk about some tweet threads that I've seen over the past few days. So the demonetized red pillar sneakers said that overweight people need to be illegal. So a whole class of people, simply because they're overweight, they need to be illegal. And then the MMA fighter, Jake Shields, says they should be sent to a forced labor camp until they are no longer overweight. It would be good for the country, but also good for the fatties. That is what Jake Shields said right here, because Sneakers said that overweight people need to be illegal. To that, Billy Williams says people with ugly faces should be required to get plastic surgery. It would be good for the country and also help the ugly people. Jake Shields responds with, I'm extremely handsome. He's also extremely delusional because this right here is a picture of Jake Shields. Spooky Bear Fan or Rad Femme says, men are so delusional. You are a 3 at best, way over the wall. And look at those ears. What the F is going on? This was my response to I'm extremely handsome. You have to look at this picture if you're just listening. This is my response to I'm extremely handsome because, in fact, he is not extremely handsome. I've seen this picture floating around on several platforms, and I had to go to the Twitter to make sure it was real. And this is really on his page. Nick Adams, the alpha man, really posted this. He says, we had several extremely attractive women begging to join us. I told them to get bit. The hot tub is for alpha males. And then he proceeds to show this picture of himself. And he posted this on his own. No one forced him to do this. He says, and no, for the record, I did not and will not apologize for this. And Brian said, the Sheilas should apologize for asking. Mike says, you go, girl. Mitch says, I believe this isn't a parody account. It's too embarrassing to be real. I don't know if he's serious, but I see him going viral periodically. So I don't know if he's doing this on purpose or what. I scroll his page and he just posts cringeworthy stuff. This picture with these 4 men, it says foursome with the boys at Hooters. He literally typed out foursome with the boys at Hooters. Like, he has a type though. He does have a type. He likes the bearded friends. He likes the bearded friends, the hairy friends. I mean, okay. So this person is just wondering what kind of meat you'll be sharing with your foursome because they are at Hooters. So get your mind out the gutter. Eaton says, now that's an alpha crew. God bless America. And Dean is wondering, how did the Sheila look who served you? The next tweet thread is from a Korean feminist. She says, among Korean feminists, 4B has evolved one step further and become 5B. The 5th B is no talking to men, because talking to misogynist, anti-feminist men is a waste of time. Men will not give up power on their own because they are vested interests in the patriarchy. She says 5B defines misogynistic men as enemies, vested power holders who women must fight and struggle against, not as objects of education and persuasion. Do not try to convince anti-feminist men to become feminist men. Just let them starve to death without any care from women. She says it's impossible to re-educate anti-feminist men who are already adults to respect women. This is the result of direct experience and conclusion of Korean feminists over the past 10 years. Just let them know that if they make misogynistic remarks or actions, they will be kicked out of society. Don't talk to him, just throw him out. Yes, 5B also includes blocking anti-feminist male accounts. Maybe you've already practiced the 5Bs. If you see an anti-feminist man, don't talk to him, report his account, and then block him. That's the easiest 5B. So just keep that in mind. This person says, I don't think this is simply a strategy to exclude men, because when we try to talk to men who hate women, all we get in return is hate and actual harassment. As with 4B, it's for our safety not to talk to them. So just keep that in mind. This is what women are saying amongst themselves. I do not believe that it's going to be possible for South Korea to turn things around, because the anti-feminist men are pushing women to the point where they do not want to talk to them at all. She continues with, we gave up on the conversation because anti-feminist men actually harass, insult, and threaten feminist women. This is ultimately due to the feminist witch hunt in Korea, so it has a different origin. This is closer to survival than separatism, a bit of a sad truth. She says, I wrote this tweet for women in countries where their survival is threatened because they are feminists. 5B may be a feminist movement, but it is essentially a way for Korean feminists to become more tireless and safer. She says, I don't know if 5B would work in a country where feminism is respected. That is something I have not experienced. She says, P.S. When I say not talking here, I mean private conversation, not public conversation, one-on-one conversation, official politics. So she knows and understands that you have to talk to men at work and in public and that kind of thing. But she's saying don't talk to them otherwise, don't talk to them online. So that's where the Korean feminists are. Okay, Meg Wise says, the men feel my mentions telling me how amazing their grandmothers were at birthing children, and the women feel my mentions telling me how birthing children endangered their grandmothers and the many complications they had. And that's why I tell men to sit down and learn. Men show us daily that they will come into our spots and tell us the experiences of women. Men do not listen to us. They come in, they want to overpower conversations. They want to give us our opinions on what women face and all of that. It's no wonder she made this post, but these people just show us daily that they have no intention to listen and learn. That's the reason why the Korean feminists is just like, block these dudes. A man says, respectfully, shouldn't both men and women be encouraged to learn from each other rather than being told to sit down? Strong families and communities are built when both genders work together in understanding, not division. God created us to complement, not compete. But what can a man respectfully tell us about childbirth? That's what she's talking about, giving birth. So there is nothing that a man could teach a woman. All a man can do is listen and learn to the about the experiences of a woman from women. At some point, they will learn to listen, but even here, he's talking about complimenting, not compete. So comprehension is not his strong suit. But Meg says women have been listening to men for centuries. And Wendy responded with the main post is fire. Then that dude made that comment, and then you responded with this, and somehow it's even more iconic than the main post. Because she's right. Women have been listening to men for centuries because women had no choices but to listen and to conform to men's opinions. Men are the ones that basically shaped everything that women had to do, and women, for survival's sake, had to listen to men. So now women are saying, you don't have to listen to us. We are telling you our experiences. This woman named Kaylee posted this meme. The meme says, the idea that the 1950s housewives led happy, fulfilled lives is so thoroughly ahistorical is almost shocking. By 1952, an estimated 50,000, mostly female patients in the United States and Canada had been lobotomized, and millions of women were prescribed mother's little helpers, barbiturates for anxiety and depression. The fact that so many people look back to the 50s as some a pinnacle of things that we should be striving for is ridiculous, especially, if you are a person that is not white and not a man, because many of us wouldn't even have full basic human rights if we were to go back to the 50s. There were a whole group of people that thought that they should be able to oppress women and non-white folks. So who really wants to go backwards? And would you give up all of the rights and freedoms that you have now, if you are not a white man, to go back to the 50s? Rebecca says women, Black people, and other minorities were legitimately oppressed during the 50s. The only people who really benefited from this time were white men, so it's not surprising that they pine for this time. And with that, I'm going to leave that there because this is really where we are. The people, especially when Black men are sitting up here on the MAGA train. I'm like, dude, if you would go back to a time that they want to go back to, you would be oppressed as well. They're so, I don't know, the lack of comprehension and the lack of knowledge of history is just galling. So many people should have been left behind. Anyways, let me know what you think about these tweet threads. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.